Okay guys, just want to give you guys a quick update. So I have a 2020 XLE. I put a power memory seat onto my car, and basically I am just doing a test run right now. So this is the buttons I made to interact with the power memory. So yeah, I have it set up. So I press that. Let's go on to seat number 1, seat number 2, and then unfortunately there's no seat 3, even though it says in the text stream there is a seat 3. I'm not sure how to access the pin, or I thought I did, but it didn't work. So I'll just mess around with that for a little bit more, see what's up. But yeah, I basically got everything set up to be plug and play. The hardest part was finding the harness and adapter. Like I had to make the harness, but the adapter, there was nothing like that on the market, so I had to like custom order it, and then I got everything fixed and plugged in. So everything does work. I had a seat from a limited model, and so far everything runs fine. So let's see. Let's mix it on. Yeah. So this is definitely not the seat that came with this car. My car is supposed to be a black interior. And yeah. So I just wanted to give a quick update on a couple things too. The LCD screen is fully done. You know, it works 100%. There's nothing wrong with it, no issue. Everything has been 100% functional. I also have like a way to change the odometer. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's just like as if it came from the factory. I backwards engineered everything. The next thing I'm probably gonna end up doing is figure out how I'm gonna, I guess, set up these buttons. I didn't want to pay like $100 for the thing here, because one, you can't use it because it is like melted onto the backside of this door trim. So when you buy it, it comes with a completely different harness for the doors. That's only on like a limited model, or you know, the highest XLE, XSE trim with like tech package and stuff like that. So you won't have the same harness that goes into the door, and because of that, I made this harness so that you don't have to go through the door. You just bypass the harness completely, and then we just have to figure out a way to mount these buttons. I'll try to figure out if there is a third memory seat, but in TechStream, when I was looking at it, I do have a third one, but maybe there's just no access to it from the main body BCU, so we'll see. And yeah, I mean, the next hardest thing is just trying to mount where these buttons would be. Originally I was gonna mount them here. I bought some double buttons where basically these buttons are split up into 2, and then I was gonna use them. So I don't really use these like automatic headlights and windshield wipers heater. I don't really use those two unless, you know, maybe in wintertime I use that one. So I might convert that to have a double button right here, 1, 2, so it gives me an extra button. I might do that for this one as well. So I guess the hard part now is, you know, you just have to make a relay and figure out which pin of these buttons is going to be the on off, and then you just turn that into one of the relays so that the relay of the new button triggers, and then, you know, it turns on and off the actual button. So that would be my thing. Originally I was going to replace this whole shelf right here, because there's really nothing no one does with that shelf. You know, I put my phone there randomly, but rarely. I like to keep my phone in my center console. So I have been designing this, and I don't know. I designed it and I tried to put it in, and it just took forever, because basically what's going to happen is that you have to take out this whole trim. Like here, this part, this odometer, and this bottom trim. And maybe you can get access to the 2 bolts that bolt that down. So that was kind of like a hit and a miss, because I don't think anyone's ever going to want to do that. You know, I looked at it personally and I just thought that's a lot of trouble. So my next step is I still want more buttons, and you know, I think the next step is either change this to become like a button mount. So you know, you add more buttons here, which I think realistically sounds like a really good plan because it's just empty space back there, you know. And then you know, the next option is turning these into double buttons that you can buy off AliExpress. The issue with that is the way those double buttons are wired. They're wired with a 5-pin wiring, and the LED has its own separate positive and negative, so when it turns on and off, you can verify if it's on and off, right? But it splits a main 12 volt, so it's just like for a trigger, so that you use it to trigger a relay, and then that relay you connect it to the actual object, which is a safer way to route, you know, 12 volt stuff in the car. But you know, there's just added things that you have to do. Now I have to go like put relays behind there, and I have to get like 3 or 4 relays for the things that I want to do, and that's a lot of space. And if you open all this, it's like not a lot of space in there. Let's see, let's open this. Yeah, so it's not a lot of space in there at all. Yeah, so we'll see what's up. Probably go back to the drawing board for that, for this part right here. But it's whatever. I think that might be the best case scenario, but I think, you know, realistically, from a design standpoint, this piece is actually 2 pieces. So if you take this whole thing off, it's 2 pieces. There's a bottom piece here and there's a top piece. The top piece holds it down, and the bottom piece screws into the top piece. So just from, you know, like trying to backwards engineer that, I think the next best way is to just remake the lower half so that it still screws into the top half. That way you can just remove this lower panel, and there's 2 screws that hold in the lower panel. You'll be able to access from here. It's like a Phillips, and once you remove those screws, there's a clip on the back side. So actually, once you open your door, there's an access panel here. You'll have to remove your weather stripping, and then you can get access to that panel, pry that panel off with like a you know, a prying tool or something like that, and then you'll have access to it. And you actually have to push, like, it's like a little clip that you push inwards so that it can remove, and that is just holding the back side. But realistically, I think if I designed that to just have like a, so this is the back side of it, just 3D printed in ABS just to make sure it doesn't melt. And then I have the same grooves here, so this groove, all that, it matches and it lines up. I just wanted like a nice I guess like wall buttons instead of butchering my plastic down here. I'm not a big fan of making things non-OEM, but I feel like whatever Toyota did with this space is like a big hit and a miss, because if they just add like empty button holders here, it would have been big win. You know, anyone that wanted to customize their rav4 anyway, you can just go buy OEM style buttons and then make it look like it's normal or meant to be. And I feel like it's a big miss here, you know, but that's my opinion. People can disagree. But yeah, realistically, I think the next step is just to redesign this so that it kind of clips just off this like lip right here. I don't know if you can tell. So there's like a tiny lip that I made, and maybe I can just stop it at that lip so that it has enough coverage from a top-down view. So when you're looking at it, you know, you can't really see the top half closing. So you know, it'll look nice and all that stuff. And then I have to figure out how to do the spacing of these buttons, because if you were to remove this and you see the back side of it, there's actual clips that these buttons clip into, and there's like a sliver of plastic that is in between these buttons on the back end. So once you push them out, you'll see like little slivers of I guess plastic, ABS. And I really couldn't find a way to accurately measure it without taking this whole panel off, and I just didn't want to take the whole panel off until I actually have to do a design. So maybe in a month or two I will have to take that panel off, but it's just a lot of work to remove all these panels, mostly just because the wiring here is a lot. There's a lot of wirings here just for this thing, And yeah, I have to figure out the wiring for this for the power seat. But it does work. I'm very happy. I will come outside and just press the button so we can see it working instead of me sitting on it, and you'll have a more accurate view. Let's see. So here, let's see, I'll press, this is 1. Yeah, and then this is 2, so just go back to where it was. Yep, cool. 1, 2. One, 2. Cool. So yeah, thanks for looking at the video, and I just want to show you guys what I'm up to. So far, everything I wanted to do has been done. The only thing I have to do, or really want to do, is I really want to add a heads-up display right here. And realistically, there's no really good way to have a heads-up display that looks OEM. And the only way to get an OEM heads-up display is to get the Prime model, XSE, with all the tech package and all that stuff. And it comes with one. And then you have to change out your whole windshield, top dash, and all that stuff. So realistically, I might not do it just because it's just a waste of money for like a little piece of screen that you're not really going to see all the time. But it is cool because I am trying to hack this speedometer to use Android Auto and CarPlay's like map to show on here when you get like turn-by-turn display. And I feel like if you were to have the newer model already, it's like post refresh 23 and up, they have like a newer infotainment system. I think those are updated to allow turn-by-turn to show up on here, whereas this first model with the buttons on the side, you don't have that ability for whatever reason. That really sucks. I've been trying to find a way around that, but I think that is the only way, just to add like a 23 model radio and then make it talk to each other via the canbus lines. So that would be nice. Yeah, everything else I kind of added. So yeah, these are just back cameras, you know, baby seats. I think the only thing I can add now is just like ventilated seats, which is just like adding a power line to the fans. I don't know if this seat has ventilated seat actually. I don't think so, but I can try to trace the lines later on in my free time. But realistically, my next object is actually, I want to take the original seat that was in here. I want to remove the bottom portion, and if you actually remove the seats, you can tell that there's rails that are interchangeable, and those rails dictate which side of the vehicle you're going to put in, because there are mounting holes that, you know, they screw into and so on. So if you were to change the bottom half to have just a regular power moving motorized seat, and then you're gonna have to basically take apart the whole seat, to be honest with you, because the I guess the airbags on this side. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to remove all this covering, remove the top from the back half, and yeah, you're gonna have to assemble the lower half with the motorized track and everything on there, swap the track over to the passenger side, and then you have to swap over your passenger side rear seat, or you have to swap over airbags. So I figured just swapping the whole back half is better, and you just have to make sure that you connect it to the motor and how it turns and stuff like that. Hopefully they will work, because this is a manual one, and then the one that I removed is a power seat. So I'll figure that out once I remove everything. I can't really tell for sure. All the schematics are kind of not very clear. Like, the reason I took so long to do this is because I actually have all the schematics from Toyota, and the third button they did not have in the schematics, right? But in TechStream it showed it, so maybe it's just like the computer. They're using the same computer for these seats. So the computer for the seats is capable of 3 memory, but there is no trace or no wire that's connecting the third actual seat to the BCU, which is the body control unit. So that probably is the thing, because even the body control unit says it doesn't have a third memory thing. I just guessed, and I thought it would be that line or that wire, right? But I guess wrong. So it could happen. But I'm not too worried. Having 1 and 2 memory seat position is still better than none. And yeah. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. In a couple weeks, I'll probably take apart the original seat that was in this car and then see if it's possible to put it on this side. I'm pretty sure it is, because I've been looking at the schematics for powering the seat. Like, there's nothing that you really need on the passenger side that you need on the driver's side, because the only reason the driver's side has a canbus connector is specifically for power memory seats, right? But if you don't have power memory seats, that canbus is just there for, they use the same harness from XLE all the way up to the limited model. And the only way you can't do this upgrade is if you have an LE model, because it comes with a completely different harness, where it just has like your airbag and seatbelt sensor versus power lines for all the motors in there, and then the actual controller is actually in this part right here. So the back side, there's like a PCB. It controls all the power. It controls how much how much power and when to limit it, so that way you don't go over the 30 amp limit. So it's pretty powerful. The thing, I think that if I do try doing the conversion for passenger side, I feel like I am going to be stuck using a left side control panel, I guess, for the seat. And I can't, for whatever reason, I can't access any kind of like right-handed side country tech stream from North America, or I can't figure out how to. I just figured maybe I can't do it just from like a region lock, so I can't find the actual part number that is the actual controller for the seat to go back, forward, tilt upwards, tilt downwards, and like the back cushion, lean back, and so on. I can't find that part number, so it's on the right hand side. And I feel like if we look for a rav4 that is a right hand drive car, you can just get a right hand drive driver's seat and then just plug and play, hopefully, right? You will have to get a new harness for the power plug, but the airbag and the seatbelt and all that stuff should be the same. So yeah, I'll try it out, see if it works or not. But I just feel like it's an uphill battle, but it's definitely possible, because I've seen the bottom half of these. You can definitely remove the tracks, but it's just like very time consuming, because you're basically taking apart not 1 but 2 actual seats to Frankenstein a power passenger seat. And the only thing you're really gonna have to do is you're gonna have to run a beefy line that goes across your panel on the bottom. And then if you have a hybrid, you're gonna have to run it all the way to the back. And if you have a gasoline model, you're gonna have to open this up. There's a little clip on the side. You pull out the whole thing, and there's a gasket just going upwards. That gasket's for additional wiring. So if you want to add wire that goes to the battery for the gasoline model, you're gonna have to do from that one, or you can take out the whole speedometer and do it from this side too. This side is right next to the brake booster, so there's actually not a lot of room on this side. So I would, at least from a hybrid standpoint, I would prefer to go from this side, because you get way more room. So yeah, there's just a lot of things involved, and there's a lot of things going on. But I just feel like after driving this car for a while, I really like what it is now. And I used to have like a small 4-inch cluster there. I used to have a like 7-inch screen. Now this is like a 9-inch screen. And yeah, everything is nice. The only thing right now, I'm also adding a 360 camera setup. It actually goes here. So I have like a remote that goes here. I'm just not 100% done with it yet, because I have been working on it little by little, and sooner or later you guys will see it. But right now I just feel like I can't get it to work on the newer generation, or I guess like the post refresh. I can get it to work on like 2019 to 2022 models, all the radios with these side buttons. I can get it to work pretty easily. But if you have like a 23 and up, I just can't get that to work for whatever reason. I think it's just they changed the cameras, and the cameras are much clearer on those models, or those year models, so cool. But I haven't figured it out. I don't have one personally to take apart and just mess with, so I just don't feel a need for that right now. But eventually I'll show you guys a video about that too. So yeah, this car's pretty nice, you know. It has all the tech that I wish came with the car from the beginning. For I guess not a lot of money, you know. It's just a lot of time trying to figure everything out, and you know, if you're not very handy, or I guess like knowledgeable about 12-volt systems, yeah, you can do quite a bit of damage. But there's a lot of things, you know. I'm actually trying to see if I could add a second 12-volt battery, and I'm also planning to see if once I run that line from the power of, I guess I have a 12-volt battery in the back of my trunk because I have a hybrid. Once I run that line here, I'll have it run into a couple splitters, and I was trying to see if maybe I can make a permanent attachment to one of those like lithium-ion battery jumper packs, because I don't drive this car very often, but when I do, I drive it like 200 miles a day. But you know, once a month, twice a month, or something like that. I have other vehicles that I drive, and it's mostly just to, like, you know, when I drive in the city with kids, I use a minivan. I have a Sienna, and then if I have to go to work far away or pick something up far away, I drive my hybrid, because, you know, I save a lot of money on gas. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me ramble. But yeah, sooner or later, I'll try to make things work, and I'll just keep on showing you guys some more things that I've been playing with in my car that I feel like really helps your quality of life.